Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today, my center of my focus is going to be on Gauzela, and mostly on what one of my viewers really. We had a very long and very strong argument for Gauzela said in his argument when commenting on the previous video that I did on Gauzela and Mlungisi. His argument was very strong, said that I even promised him that I'll include some of his ideas in this narrative, in this presentation. His argument is that why is it that Mlungisi is never arrested? Mlungisi is never arrested whenever he's doing these demonstrations. He's at the forefront of these demonstrations. He's not arrested. Could it be the reason that is giving him power? Is that what is energizing him to call upon other leaders of other political groupings to come and join him at the forefront? Because he knows that he himself is very safe from any form of arrest or incarceration. So he's calling upon other leaders like Gauzela, directly or indirectly, to come and join him in these demonstrations. Demonstrations that can be done maybe by a group or by half a group that don't necessarily need the presence of everyone else. So he's saying that how can he do that, knowing that Gauzela is complained and has always brought it to the open to the public that the regime, the king himself, wanted him dead. Him and all the other people that surround him and all the other people working for the liberation of Swaziland. He wanted them dead. He said that he knows that Gauzela, once he steps his foot in Swaziland, even before he is in front of any demonstration, he will be arrested and probably, apart from being arrested, worse, he might even be killed. How come Mlungisi has got the energy to be saying things like this when he is quite aware of these facts? What is really motivating him to say all these things? What is his strongest motivation? So that is what my viewer was querying, and I thought maybe he had really a very, very strong point, and that needs to be addressed, or rather I realized that a lot of people are addressing this and are discussing it and are really making their own conclusions. My viewer further queried why, if the aim was to work together as a unified front, why was it necessary for him to discredit and attack Magaugau on such a public platform, so that he ended up making him look weak and humiliating him in the process? Indeed, they are supposed to be working together. And he was saying by attacking him and making him look weak and humiliating him, he was also attacking himself, because if they are working together, then the struggle itself is weakened and people would realize that this is a front that they are trying to portray as if they are united. So he was saying indirectly he was also attacking himself and weakening himself, and he alluded to the fact that sometimes this political front, political battle tend to turn into a wrestling match in which people are wrestling for power and recognition. And he was also saying that in the end, sometimes some people really focus on the wrong thing, like Pudemo might focus on the fact that maybe there's a new kid on the block, and now they are afraid that he might steal the thunder from them, steal the limelight from them, like I said in my previous video. So they end up feeling jealousy because they themselves maybe initially were lethargic because they were not in competition with any other political party on a serious level or on a serious platform. So they end up feeling jealous, and maybe we end up having utterances like this that we are getting from Mlungisi. That is the point of view of my viewer, and I think it's a very, very powerful argument. It can't be ignored. And I think this argument is not only him who is forwarding it, or rather who is fronting it. Other people have got the same feeling. analysts and political supporters at the same time, they analyze the same situation and maybe come up with a different or with the same conclusion. So here we are in this argument where we find two big political parties really at loggerheads with each other, which are supposed to work together at loggerheads with each other. Although we know that is not very common for political parties to work together, but in Swaziland, with the situation as it is right now, they really need to really bring their resources together, personal resources and material resources and any other form of resources to the table and make sure that they combine their forces and fight Mswati. Mswati is still in a very powerful position and it's very difficult to move, and if they don't really make a concerted effort, which is very difficult to have at the moment because of the manner in which these two are attacking each other, they might not, or they might find it very, very difficult. It will be a mammoth task for them to remove Mswati. Really, it will be difficult. It will be just a wild goose chase, something that will never have an end in itself. So this, I think, is turning out to be something that is nasty. But apart from that, the leader of the student union was arrested. Rather, he was taken by the soldiers. Just another story, really, that really caught my attention. He was caught by the soldiers. He was beaten very heavily. Very, very heavily, and was dumped by a police station. And the police said they could not really allow him to be. They found it very difficult to make sure that he was given medical attention because they wanted to find out what had happened or how badly injured he was. And then some political leaders of other political parties, notably Pudemo, they came and they took him and they took him to hospital, which means that Mswati, from just going back to the point that we've been making, that Mswati, his government is becoming very, very confident right now, and this is not very good for the pro-democracy activists. It's not very good for the pro-democracy activists. When Mswati, instead of sending the police, is sending soldiers to attack innocent civilians who are just trying to fight for their rights. That's all they are doing, and they are not even armed. He's sending soldiers to victimize these very people, which shows that he's increasing in his confidence. But they also discovered that that is maybe what is making Pudemo more confident also, just like the king, because they are always there. When things happen nowadays, they are always there. Their boots are on the ground. Like I could see that the person who was making a statement there was Pudemo, one of the Pudemo dignitaries or officials. And he was also the one who was responsible for taking Xolani to the hospital. And maybe that is necessary also on the part of Swalimo, that I don't know how much they are doing underground, really. Because Pudemo, from a statement that they issued when they were condemning the army and the soldiers, threatening that the army and the soldiers who don't come to their side are going to suffer the consequences, that they've identified, they issued a very strong statement that they've identified the army personnel and the police who are responsible for victimizing and brutalizing the people, and they were going to deal with them because they have taken this struggle to another level, because they've been a very peaceful organization trying to use very peaceful means to attain independence, but then they have realized that the people's wishes, the people are not at all patient anymore. They want quick results and they want them now, and they are telling the soldiers and the police that they are not going to forgive them in the name of them just executing their duties, because that's what they say when they beat up people, when they brutalize people, that we are just carrying out our duties. They are saying there is time, this is the time for them to jump camp, to come to the people, so that when
the struggle is fought and won, they will know, or rather they will know who their true enemies are, and they will separate them from the sheep from the goats right at the end, depending on how you have conducted yourself as a policeman and conducted yourself as a soldier during the struggle, especially during this part of the struggle. So they are saying they are using all pillars of the revolution. They are using mass mobilization, international solidarity, and underground work. I don't know the underground work that is being done in Swaziland. That is done by the Swaziland International Solidarity Force. I don't know who is responsible for the Swaziland International Solidarity Force. And when Pudemo is saying they are also doing underground work, I really don't know which underground work they are talking about. Or do they both have forces underground that are working to liberate Swaziland? That would be a good thing, and especially if they also could join hands, or rather could coordinate their actions so that they really push Mswati against the wall, and maybe sooner than later Mswati is going to abdicate and maybe run away, or maybe come to negotiation the other parties to come to the negotiating table, which he is failing to do at the moment because he doesn't see any reason why he should do so, since his position is still very, very, very powerful. He's not talking about negotiations, which were mentioned, I think, about 5 or 6, if not 7 months back. He's not even mentioning that there will be negotiations at any particular time, anytime soon. So if they both have underground forces, that is going to make it very effective, and they should coordinate. They should stop these fights, really. That is my plea, that the fighting doesn't take them anywhere. They are not in the elections yet. We can't talk about it as election fever, because the struggle, the bigger part of the struggle is still raging on, and they might not win it if they fight each other. The elections that they want, or rather the democracy that they are fighting for, might be just a pipeline dream in Swaziland. They might not have it if they don't fight for it, and maybe fight for it with joint hands. If they need to fight for democracy, throw away their differences and join hands and really fight together. I don't know why they would emphasize the idea of them having big differences, because I don't see their difference, because they have got a common cause. Their common cause is their common enemy, their enemy, but the enemy of both is Mswati, and Mswati is the one that they need to take out of Swaziland, or rather take out of government. So they shouldn't be fighting now, because there is no stake. They are fighting for which stakes, really? What is it that they are fighting for? There's nothing to fight for. They have to remove Mswati first before they can fight in the elections if they bring democracy to Swaziland. Ladies and gentlemen, this is We Africa. Please subscribe to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe, and please share this video.